I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the personal injury module in the LLM and CPD in Contemporary Law and Practice, which has been run by the School of Law, Glasgow University. I'll be heading up the module, but it will be delivered by a team from Compass Chambers, whom all practitioners know are the leading chambers in personal injury work. The course will take place over 2 days and will be an intensive update into the major aspects of personal injury law. There will be lectures on the kind of practice areas and litigation hotspots which all of us have to deal with in daily life. Day one will start with a lecture on practice and procedure and pleadings in the Coulsfield area. Everyone who practices in the Court of Session knows that the Coulsfield reforms have revolutionised the way in which actions are pled and the way in which actions are dealt with. Coulsfield has recently been downshifted to the Sheriff Court as well, and this relates both to ordinary cause procedure, and currently there's an Act of Sederunt which is about to be passed relating to summary cause procedure, so no one who practices in this area of law can afford not to know about it. The next set of lectures will relate to an area which I think is critical for personal injury lawyers, and it's a matter which is not really taught at undergraduate level or even at postgraduate level, it seems to me, and that relates to the drafting of schedules of damages. We'll be looking at a variety of scenarios, ranging from a simple schedule for past losses, looking at things like wage loss, interest, solatium, etc., to much more complex cases where there's been serious and ongoing injury, future wage loss, change of accommodation, nursing care costs, and finally we'll be finishing off by looking at quantification of damages in fatal accidents. You may be aware that there is currently legislation being proposed by way of a private member's bill by Mr. Bill Butler, MSP, which would revolutionise the quantification and calculation of these damages. So we'll be looking at calculation of fatal accident claims, both from the perspective of the current law and also from the perspective of what we think the law is likely to be in 2011. And we'll be providing practical examples of ways in which practitioners can carry out these quantifications. Day two we will be starting first of all by looking at cases on limitation, with particular reference to industrial disease type cases and also historic child abuse cases. Every practitioner will know that there has been a lot of litigation, both in Scotland and in England, regarding child abuse. And industrial disease also is the kind of area where there seems to be a constant flux as to what the courts expect by way of pleading and proving. And it's something which every practitioner needs to know about. In this connection, we'll also be looking at the Law Commission's, the current Scottish Law Commission's proposals for reform of the law. The final 2 sessions will be a rapid-fire case update on the kind of areas which we see in practice all the time. Claims against local authority for tripping and slipping, occupiers' liability for slipping and tripping, landlord and tenant type cases, and then the final update will relate to workplace liability cases, and we'll be looking in particular at the effects of the European Directive-based six-pack, with particular reference to the recent legislation, namely the work at height regulations and the construction, design and management regulations. So the idea of the course is to give practitioners, in a very short space of time, an almost complete scan update, so to speak, of current developments in personal injury law, delivered by the leading practitioners in the field.